Welcome to Maintaining Milk Supply. My name is Yvonne Hernandez and I'm the FPQC Nurse Consultant. In the next few slides, we're going to talk about ways and suggestions that we can incorporate to help our NICU mothers maintain their milk supply. Here, we're going to start at the start with initiation and establishing milk supply. This slide is just a bit of a review as we focus many of this content in our initiative. So just in regards to prenatal education, I just want to give a suggestion that we make sure we are outreaching for antepartum high-risk patients, make sure that we're targeting them with this breastfeeding education so that they can be well prepared. And who can deliver this? This could be the staff LC, this could be an RN, this could be a BRN, a doula, WIC, Healthy Start worker. Let's think out of the box and who can provide this education. And for our first pumping session, I think Dr. Parker's research has really helped us understand the importance of early initiation and future milk supply, especially as soon as possible after delivery. That being said, that first pumping session should just really be focused on the pumping, not so much on the education, as our mothers and our families may not be ready to accept or to take in that much information. The delegation of whose responsibility is it to support and assist with that first pumping session. I think this is the role that nursing plays a huge part in, whether it is to support themselves, support the patient themselves, or to delegate that to ancillary staff, incorporate the assistance of family. Again, the importance of it occurring, right? In addition, the need for hospital-grade pumps at maternal discharge is a very real thing. Currently in the state of Florida, our Medicaid mothers do not have access to hospital-grade pumps. WIC remains a critical player in supporting our NICU mothers with hospital-grade pumps. Please, let's make these referrals for our moms to WIC. In addition, NICUs have established breast pump loaner programs to kind of meet that need as well. So opportunities definitely exist here, but we have to make sure that our moms are getting these pumps and troubleshoot and make referrals to help them. Following up on milk volume is critical, as we've discovered. More than or equal to 500 milliliters is a value or indicator that we're using for our NICU mothers, very low birth weight infants. Key time points, 7, 14, and 28 days of life. We still have an opportunity at these key time points to help support and increase milk supply. So we want to not only continue to follow them, but also help and support them. I also understand that each woman will have their own personal maximum milk making capacity. The initiation or the start of skin to skin by day like 10, I think is a great indicator, but we want to go further. Also think about how much of it is actually occurring. Can we incorporate, can we recommend daily skin to skin? Can we help our families plan so that they can be there for the 60-minute session of skin to skin? Right? And let's continue to celebrate that Kangaroo Awareness Month this May and keep the momentum going in our NICUs. Supporting milk supply, day of life 28 and beyond. Let's encourage and facilitate our families to visit at the bedside during the NICU stay. Let's inquire if they're not visiting at the bedside. Let's help identify any barriers that may exist to their visitation. Let's provide referrals and resources, whether it's social work or Healthy Start or guest cards, to help our families facilitate visitation. Let's also incorporate them into the daily care so that they also find a reason in which to come in, right, to visit their infants, in addition to just providing mother's own milk. And then the next step is really getting that baby to the breast, right? And the non-nutritive suckling at the breast, getting the baby to practice breastfeeding. We have to remember that there's many benefits to the non-nutritive suckling for premature infants, and that the original pacifier is the breast. So let's make a transition here. Remember, any licking or suckling at the breast are wins. And also in preparation, we'll have the mother pump first. She can pump like a normal pumping session, her breast, both at the same time, then hold the baby skin to skin, offer opportunities for the non-nutritive suckling. And when she's done with that session, the mother could then pump again. And that would allow the mother to have 2 pumping sessions done for the day quickly. And with that second pumping session happening pretty close to the first one, theoretically that milk from the second pumping session should have higher fat content, which will also increase the calories of the milk, which is very beneficial for our very low birth weights infants. And let's observe what the baby's doing when he's at the breast and see how his suckling pattern matures. Well, he may be ready to the next logical step, which is the first oral feeding. And for those mothers who intend to breastfeed, we should plan to make those first oral feedings occur at the breast. You could reserve 1 or 2 or 3 first sessions to happen at the breast. We want to make sure we talk with our families about this. You can use test weights to identify how much was transferred. We can look at overall weight gain patterns. And also we want to look at how the infant is tolerating the feeding session, right? And then look at all these factors and how we continue to progress and advance in oral feedings. Now, let's talk a little bit about lifestyle, maintaining milk supply. So with a lot of pumping, there's going to be the need for storage of their express mother's own milk. It's very important that we assess each family's individual circumstance regarding travel and visitation. Ideally, the recommendation should be that the mother bring in her milk fresh and not frozen. Then the nurse can make the decision on the need to freeze the milk or not. This supports providing fresh milk and avoids a situation of defrosted milk and things of that nature. We must also make sure that we have appropriate containers for storage and transport. The amount of the containers depends on her milk volume and frequency of visitation as well. How much will she need? If she's not back in a day or 2, then she may need more containers to make sure that she has what she needs to store all her milk. Also, use of blue ice is very helpful for transporting fresh refrigerated milk to the NICU in insulated containers. We want to make sure our families have the basic needs so that they can bring their milk safely to the NICU. And then pumping and life, because life continues even after you deliver a very low birth weight infant in the NICU. We want to help our families and our mothers plan for pumping sessions to meet or exceed the 500 milliliters per 24 hours. That's kind of like a baseline that we have. And how many pumping sessions will be required is individualized once we establish a milk supply. But overall, we know at the beginning it's about 8 to 12. Some moms may be able to decrease from 8. Some mom needs to maintain the 8 pumping sessions to make the 500 milliliters per 24 hours. If we can offer extra pump kits for night sessions, that allows the mother to be able to pump and not necessarily have to get up and wash her pump parts and able to have a fresh kit for the next session. Time saving. That's very important. Also, we want to make sure our moms are staying well hydrated, but at night when they have that last pumping session before they go to bed, if they can consume some additional water, naturally she will awaken with the need to urinate, and that itself may be a natural awakening, an opportunity for another pumping session. Some mothers will set alarms, but definitely meeting hydration needs as well as naturally awakening, I think is a very good choice, an option. And then the last that I have there for you is hands-free pumping. And this is a great little website you can go to on Kelly Mom. KellyMom.com is incredible, great resource for our mothers. And it has a demonstration there of how to make a hands-free pump, how to make any pump hands-free. Very useful, easy to do, and a great suggestion for our families. Now we'll talk about back to work, which is also another lifestyle factor that is implicated in maintaining milk supply. Many of our families may return to work during the infant NICU stay to save their time off for when the infant is discharged from the NICU. Some of our families also may not have a choice and need to return to work postpartum. And when they return to work postpartum varies, and it can be as early as even 2 weeks, which we understand now and we know is a critical time point to establish milk supply. So going back to work itself is a critical time. We should be outreaching and discussing with our families, especially with our NICU mothers, if this is something that they're going to have to do, and we want to help them plan to avoid pitfalls. Where, when, how often should a NICU mother pump when she returns to work? Again, the answers to some of these questions are dependent on her milk supply. If she's 2 weeks postpartum versus 6 weeks, those are different factors to consider. So great opportunity for some discussion. What can we do in the NICU? We can provide them a medical necessity letter. This can address the need for time and space to pump, address overall the need for her milk given her very low birth weight infant, NICU stay. This may be helpful for a mother to provide to her manager or workplace. Also, we have great resources available. This is an example of one, womenshealth.gov, which has more targeted information on back to work and pumping, which we can share with our moms. And then we have our keep calm and come back later, pumping in progress, right? This is probably going to be part of almost all NICU pump rooms. But it's important to be able to have those discussions and those talks with our families to help them troubleshoot and be able to go back to work without risking losing their milk supply. As we continue to discuss lifestyle and maintaining milk supply, support groups. Let's talk about what can we do for mothers during these support groups. So many of the topics that we've discussed previously on the other slides can be elaborated and touched on in support groups. Think about what your NICU already has. Do they have an existing class? Is it a discharge class? Is it an infant CPR class? What kind of classes already exist, and can you tailor that? Can you have a nurse come in and be available for any questions on breastfeeding or infant feeding? Do you have craft making activities? Is that an opportunity in which you can use to discuss further? And also the use of peer support. That is, I think, a wonderful opportunity. And think about inviting your WIC and Healthy Start programs to help facilitate your groups. I know that staffing is always critical, but if we have somebody who is facilitating the group, and we can use either our BRNs or LCs or other RNs to kind of support that WIC and Healthy Start program staff, I think that that's a great combination for a group. And the troubleshooting. This is going to be an ongoing, and groups are a great way to have mothers exchange ideas and support each other. I think that we bring them together. One starts discussing this, we get ideas, we can share. It's a great environment for mothers. It also helps them to build their confidence and also build their support within each other for pumping and breastfeeding in the NICU environment, which is so different and unique than in the term world or outside of the NICU. And let's just remember that pumping is hard work and time intensive. So the troubleshooting and ways that we can help our mothers pump and be more efficient are critical. Here, I just wanted to share the link to our FPQC Mom website. This is full of incredible parent resources. It is useful and available to everyone. We have education in various languages. We have videos, great resources that you can share with your families. And we also have this available for you to share with them so that they can go through and access what they would like to look at. Just remember that it's very important for us to focus on the family and support during their NICU stay and incorporating them into the care of the infant. Thank you for your time as we reviewed some key points in maintaining milk supply through the NICU stay. Keep up the great work in supporting our NICU moms and babies. My email is there. Please reach out to me. We can set a time to discuss further, plan some site visits. Thank you.